What's up, what's up, what's up? This is your boy Fareed Rashad with Keep It Sharp Podcast with Fareed Rashad. What's up, y'all? I'm here with my boy Andres from Fademasters here in Tampa, Florida.
That's right.
I missed the peanut
Thank
gallery.
you. I like that introduction. Thank you, Fareed. Thank you for having me here.
Hey, listen.
Appreciate that.
20 years
Yes,
anniversary you just had a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I can't even
I
believe
know it because I was there, and it was
sir.
lit. It was really lit.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, listen. 20 years in this business in what's this? 2022. I'm about to say 1922. 2022.
Yes, sir.
How did you do that?
I didn't think it was gonna, I didn't think about 20 years ahead when I first opened up the barbershop,
Okay.
I was 19 back then.
Okay.
I just wanted to have my own barbershop, mainly because I felt like I was too restricted where I was at. They didn't even let me play the radio, for example.
Okay.
I didn't have a key to the barbershop. Just certain things like that. We didn't have a TV at the barbershop. The owner of the shop, she, didn't believe in that, and there was no TV in there. Things like that, and that was the main reason why I wanted to have my own barbershop.
Okay.
It was never with the idea like, oh, let me open up a barbershop 'cause I want to open up a bunch of locations. That I wasn't even thinking that far ahead.
Right.
It just worked out like that, I guess.
Okay. Well, I know I always believed in, guys getting their own shop. Because one thing about getting your own shop, you can create your own atmosphere.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? And there are owners out there who, are very strict with certain rules and how the barbers behave and come and go. And I mean, yeah, you do have to have structure in the barbershop, but then sometimes there are things that you might want to do. I was working with a owner one time that said, I can't talk on my phone. I mean, I got kids, I got family, I got a phone ring, I got to talk. I wasn't allowed to use the shop phone, so what I'm going to use. So, yeah, I get it. You know what I mean? And I always tell people if you open your own shop, you can kind of create your own atmosphere.
That's right.
And everybody has the right to run their shop the way they want to run it. You know what I mean? I do believe in that. But there are some things that might be we might feel, and it's always just our opinion of it that we might feel is a little too much.
Correct.
But 20 years, in 20 years, I know you dealt with a lot of different personalities.
Oh yeah.
And you've seen a lot. You
Seen it all.
Exactly.
No, it's kidding. Not all. Because it seems like every year I see something different here and there. But I've seen a lot, definitely.
Well, one thing that I noticed, when you had the event, when you invited all the shops. How many shops do you have?
So it's 7 in total. One of them is a franchise. So
7 shops. Hey,
thank you,
man. 7 shops. That's great. That's like a franchise.
Yeah, pretty much.
So do you transfer franchise any of the shops out, or you pretty much just run them all?
No, we're not established as a franchise yet.
Okay.
I started looking into last year. Then for a little bit of time, and then I stopped looking. I found out that it's pretty expensive to turn into a complete franchise model. That takes a lot of money. I mean, probably in the near future I'll do it. But right now it's just a corporation, and we're growing it.
And when you first started, how many other barbers are still with you?
Like from day one, from the very, very first day one, none of them. Well, it was just me and 2 other guys. Okay. So actually, they both had their own barbershops. I don't know if they're both in the business anymore. I think one of them is not. This was 20 years ago,
Gotcha.
A lot of things have happened. I do have one barber that's been with me pretty much close to 20 years. He was there almost from the first year, my boy Berto. My boy Moses, the one that owns Fademasters 6 in Port Richey, the one
Okay.
that has the franchise.
Okay.
So he's been with me about, I think like 18 years,
Wow.
17 years. Yeah.
Wow. Shout out to Alberto.
Oh yeah.
I had a chance to talk with him for a few minutes, and I thought he was very reserved, very interesting, very humble person.
Yeah.
And I mean, and what I seen with him, I seen loyalty.
Yeah.
You know, a
Very
lot of
in focus.
barbers, you know, don't stay with one shop for 20 years.
They don't.
Most barbers don't. Some barbers quit before 20 years, cutting hair. So
That's true.
shout out to him.
Yeah. No, and you know what? Sorry for cutting you off. You
No,
you were
you're
gonna say?
good. No.
Okay. No, I was gonna tell you that. I'm glad you brought that up with Berto, because actually it shows that, you know, consistency, it really takes people far, and I think that's a problem in this industry. Probably in a lot of industries, I wouldn't be surprised. You know, people are not consistent. They don't stick to a plan. They like to move around too much. You know, and it's sticking to a plan, being consistent, having that discipline. That's really what gets you far in life. So, and the way that Berto operates is pretty interesting. So he, I keep telling him all the time, I tell him, open up your own barbershop, do it with me or even without me, but just do it, because that's like the next step, I believe, right? But the way that he has used the business, I like his angle, which is just to stay super busy every day, every minute that he's at the barbershop. And that works for him, because he's able to make more money than even a lot of barbershop owners. Because as a shop owner, you have to put time into managing the barbershop, managing the barbers, worrying about this and the other. You know, if something breaks down, then you have to go and get it fixed or fix it yourself. Berto, all he focuses on is just cutting hair non-stop, you know. And basically his expenses is only paying the booth rent. That's it. He doesn't have to worry about all these other expenses that as shop owners we have to deal with, you know.
Right.
Even remodeling every few years,
Yeah, he doesn't have
painting, this,
overhead.
that. He
Yeah.
doesn't have no overhead.
Nice.
And he just focuses on cutting, but all the time, busy. And he saves money and everything.
Right.
And he has done quite well for himself.
Nice.
Oh yeah,
Nice.
big time. When the I mean, I don't know if I should put his business out there or not, but I mean, it's nothing bad. I don't think I don't think he'll mind. But he's always been a hard worker, saves money, right? When the market crashed back in 2008,
Okay.
so he gave a big down payment for a big house. Now houses, you know, in the last few years they really went up.
Okay.
So now Berto has a house that is, I don't know, it's gotta be way over $500,000.
Nice.
It's really nice house, big
Nice.
house in Tampa. You know, Tampa is gotten very expensive.
Dude.
Everybody's going. Actually, I think his house is probably like close to 700,000. It's a huge house, man.
Nice.
And you know, he always loves cars. Recently, he bought an R8,
Yeah.
and that's just to show you, you know, discipline.
Yeah.
People look at Berto, they don't think he just cuts hair. They think like he's
Doing
something
other
illegal
stuff.
or something. You know,
Right.
that's how people are. But I know for a fact that's all he does. Cause the way he works, he doesn't have time for you know, to be doing anything else
Gotcha.
like that. He puts in probably at least 60 hours a week.
Wow. Yeah. And I think in 2022, you know, with all the barbers that we got all over the place, and there's a lot of dope barbers. You know, we're not talking about guys who just cutting hair to be cutting hair. These guys can cut and they can throw down. So to be consistent in 2022 as a barber is a blessing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you know, the market is, you know, as it is with post-pandemic, and you know, we got other stuff coming down the pike, you know, so we don't know where our society is going to be, not even 3 to 5 years from now. So being consistent as a barber now, and you can still pay your bills and do what you need to do and feed your family, dope. All right, Andres, tell the people, what else do you do?
Well, I'm also into real estate.
Mm.
I'm a realtor Last year I got my broker's license, so I'm a broker associate.
Nice.
Yes, thank you. I have not opened up my own real estate company yet, but that's in the works.
Okay.
Think next year I'll be doing that.
Okay. Okay.
Um, what else do I do? That's pretty much it. I run the barber shops. I'm trying to keep growing them.
Nice. Nice. Where do you see Fademasters 10 years from now? What does that look like? And we
Mm,
talking a 30-year business.
wow. Um, well, I haven't set a number, which I should have, a number of stores that I want to have in the next 10 years. Honestly, I have not set that goal for myself. But I am working on the structure of the business, on having rules in place. I mean, I have them written down, but I'm going over them again. I'm working on a manual right now, setting
Okay.
up a manual for my barbers,
Okay.
a training manual, basically. Just having a good system. 'Cause I think the system is really what makes it different, what differentiates a big company like a franchise from a mom and pop. I
Gotcha.
feel like the mom and pop is just doing things as they go. Let's say a mom and pop that makes burgers. They probably just go ahead and start working on the burger, but just like anybody, like me and you would do if you were doing a burger at your house, right? But at McDonald's, they have a system. They
Nice.
know exactly what comes after the lettuce. You know what I mean? What comes after, before the tomatoes? How many pieces of cheese to put, slices of cheese? All that is like measured and everything. And I feel like that's where the success is for a business. Like if you want to really be able to scale it, you have to be very organized and precise on what you're doing. So I'm working on that.
Nice. Nice. I think you've done a great job just in the first 20. I really do. I commend you. You know, I've been in the business 40 plus years, and you're the first owner that I seen that not only have an event for your barbers, and this is your second anniversary event. Did you have like a
I've had a few.
had
I've
a
had a
few?
few, but this was the biggest, and definitely.
And what I found most interesting and very admirable is that you gave these guys awards
Yeah,
for their service within the company.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And some of the ones like most improved.
yeah.
Other what are some of the other awards?
Well, the main one this year was the People's Award.
Nice,
The People's Skills Award.
nice.
And the awards, just for the audience, because for the people that wasn't there at the party, the awards are just one per barbershop, and then I have like three more just for a specific reasons, right? So in total, we gave out eight awards,
Eight
out of
awards.
50 barbers. So it's not like everybody got an award, because then
Right, I got
it wouldn't
you.
make it as meaningful,
Yes, no.
obviously.
I
I mean,
I
just for
thought,
the
I
people that
thought
don't
that
know.
was really dope, and I said to myself, I said, "Wow, I never seen that before."
Oh, appreciate it.
So, kudos to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Now, you were involved in a lot of barber shows and barber battles.
Yeah.
Tell us about those years.
Oh, those was
Do you miss them?
The good years. Yeah, definitely did. I did. I think I wish I would have competed more. I was just always so busy, man. Always, my book. I used to work like the way that Berto works, and he used to work with me when he first started. So I'm not gonna say that he got that from me, but he saw how I used to work. Stay always busy, boom, boom, boom. So for me to take time off to go to a barber event, I used to do it, but I wish I would have did it even more. I would have gotten a lot more trophies, I would think.
Nice, nice. Well, it was a pleasure. It was a pleasure talking to you. It was a pleasure getting to know you the last couple months. I think that you're going to go really far in this.
Thank you, bro. Hey, can I go back to the awards real quick?
Yeah, yeah.
All right, just a disclosure. I do got 5 award trophies. You know, I don't want people to think that I competed and didn't win or something. Let me just, you know what I mean, clear the air for that. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Your boy got 5 trophies out there. You know?
Okay.
Yeah, I won a couple of those with Exotics. You know about Exotics.
Yeah.
You're friends with them.
I'm part of Exotics. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So yeah, shout out to Exotics.
That's what's up.
They definitely big in the industry.
Okay.
And yeah.
So, what do you want people to know about? Not only Fademasters in your company, what do you want people to know about you?
Give me a second. Can I turn down the AC a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have to think about that. Nice.
So, Andres.
Yes, sir.
You know, we know a little more. We know a little bit about Fademasters, the company. But let's talk about Andres, the owner, the man, the legend.
I like that. Go ahead. So, okay. About me. Well, let me see. I think I gotta think about that question.
Yeah. What drives? What type of focus do a man has to have to accomplish some of the things that you accomplish? What inspires?
Well, definitely, you have to be self-driven, right? You have to have that hunger, and it needs to come from you. You know, you can't. If you're not self-motivated, then it's hard to get things accomplished. You know, you have to be willing to wake up early in the morning without nobody telling you, hey, you know what I mean? You need to wake up. You know what I mean? You need to do these things by an instant. You know, it has to come from you. You have to stay hungry, which sometimes that's a little bit tough. You know, once you reach a goal or two, then it's easy to just sit back, you know. And I feel like you just gotta find ways to stay motivated, because there's always a higher level, right? No matter how good you're doing, there's always something you could be doing better. You could be doing better, not just for you, but also for your family, for other people. And I think that's where the motivation can continue once you start looking past you. You know what I mean? Because once you're done, you know, getting the basic things that you want, maybe I want to get a certain car, let's say, for example, then and you keep getting stuff that you want, then you might want to start thinking about, you know, oh, how can I help other people, you know? And that's when you see it's a big ball game, you know. It's a lot to fulfill, you know.
Nice.
And I feel that heard that you get more successful by trying to make other people successful than by you trying to be successful yourself. So that's where I'm at right now.
True.
I'm trying to empower my guys to open up franchises with me, which I sincerely feel is the most secure way for a barber, the next level for a barber to make their money, you know. Even though I also encourage my guys to have a side hustle, you know, something that they're doing on the side just to have another stream of income. That makes a lot of sense, right? And having other goals besides barbering, that's cool too. I applaud that, you know. And at the same time, barbering is a great career if we look at everything that we can get from it, you know. So it's not as you know, everybody knows it. It's not a get quick rich scheme, you know. Exactly. Barbering is hard work, it's grind, it's dedication, right?
Yeah.
But it's also very steady. It's very reliable, you know. There's not gonna be an app that's gonna come over here and wipe us out, you know. There's not gonna be. I mean, I heard about robots trying to cut hair or something, but I don't think they're gonna be able to come up with that anytime soon, if ever, because you cannot take away the human contact that the barber brings to a table,
right? And
certain things in the details of the haircut. I can't see a robot doing that, you know. Right. And I feel like the more that we get into technology and everything, the more that a lot of humans are gonna keep wanting to keep that human interaction, because nobody wants to be in front of the computer all day 24/7, you know. So I feel like barbering is here to stay. You know, it's been here forever.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna continue being here forever. Thank God. So we're in a very reliable business, and that's why honestly I feel that this is one of the best things, if not the best thing that a barber can do, and definitely the easiest. Because
Right.
think about it, it's not like that you have to learn a different skill and a skill and all of this. You know,
Right.
um, this is something that that a lot of us we've been doing it for many years. You know, we
Right.
have the experience, and then to open up a barbershop just makes a lot of sense. You know, yeah. If you look at when people want to retire through a financial institution, right? Through the stock market and a financial advisor and all that, right? What do they tell you? Oh yeah, you want to retire with $1 million? This is what you do. 20 years, you gotta send $500. I'm just throwing numbers out
Right.
there. I don't know is it the exact numbers, right?
Gotcha.
So you throw $500. You send them so they can invest them for you at Wall Street, and 20 years later, you retire with $1 million. Well, in barbering, if you open up a barbershop, right, you retire with $1 million. Oh, and then you're gonna get a paycheck for, let's say, $2,000, right? Okay, so you're waiting 20 years so you can start getting this paycheck for $2,000 a month, right? But if you open up a barbershop, if you save money, let's say for 2 years, right, save up 30, 40,000, open up a nice barbershop, you're gonna make at least those $2,000 profit or better every month.
Gotcha.
And guess what? You don't have to save $1 million. You don't have to wait 20 years. You know.
Right.
So that's why I sincerely think that's one of the best things we can do. Opening up barbershops and real estate too. Because the houses, we're in Florida, you know, and one of the best states in the United States. It just keeps going up.
Gotcha.
So we're in a great position. Thank God, you know.
So when you started your business, were there other shops around at that time?
Yeah,
Were there a few or?
Here in Tampa, just a few. Very few barbershops. And as far as like fade shops, I think there was only like myself and two other ones.
Nice. Okay.
I think one of them is not. It's only like one left out of all those guys.
Okay.
Out of the first ones that started in that time with me.
Wow. So you're like an icon here.
Thank you, man.
Fademasters name. You see it. You see the shops throughout town. You see the shops throughout town, and it's it's a blessing. It's truly is a blessing. So shout out to you and Fademasters.
Thank you. Yeah, I love that, man.
Definitely for the longevity, and to be able to maintain, well, we balled down, but
I know, years, experience.
But the wisdom that you gain from running these shops and servicing all these customers all these years.
Oh yeah,
that's awesome.
Thank you.
Shout out to you. And if you guys are in Florida, Tampa, Florida, you can check out Fademasters. There's various locations. How can they contact you?
All right, they can reach me through Instagram, Fademasters Barbershops. I had to start a new Instagram, so it'll be cool if people start following me on there.
Okay.
The other Instagram was giving me problems to promote and stuff, so I had to start a new one. And on Facebook, I also have Fademasters Barbershops.
All right, so you'll see it on the screen, Fademasters Barbershops on Instagram and on
Fademasters Barbershops, same thing.
We'll have it listed where you guys can see it.
Oh yeah,
Appreciate
that.
Hey, no problem.
And you know what? One thing that I would like for barbers, for us to get for barbers to have better relationships among themselves, with barbershop owners, because I feel that I feel it here in my city, and I'm sure it's something that is probably worldwide, because I've traveled a lot, and I've seen it. I asked barbers about it, that there's a little bit of I don't know if it's rivalry. You know, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I know it's competition, but
Yeah.
they sometimes they take it to like a negative way. You know, like a little
Yeah.
bit of hatred and rivalry and.
I think in a lot of different businesses it's like that, but definitely in the barber industry,
You see it.
you know, you'll go to shows and you'll see the camaraderie, and you know, and they'll talk about barber love, and there is some love probably amongst most of it, but there are sectors and different areas, different states there, but yeah, there's a lot of competition and a lot of, you know, a little jealousy,
Hatred and all that,
Yeah.
right? Division,
yeah,
right? Yes, definitely.
yeah,
And yeah, and hopefully that's something that we can work on as a group, you know, as an industry.
okay,
Because when you think about it, when people start competing in that way, right, in a negative way, then everybody starts getting affected. When
Okay.
you're having people being cutthroat, when you're having people just go against, you know, their own kind in their own industry, you know, talking bad about each other, stuff like that. It's just bad for the industry,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So one thing I've been doing now in the last few years is that I try to find out where I have a new barber, right, that is trying to work with me. I want to know where he's coming from, you know, where he worked at. And if it's anywhere here in the city, I call that barbershop. Actually, even if it's not in the city, I'll call that barbershop, and I'll try to speak to the owner and find out, hey, so tell me about this guy. You know, is he a good barber? Is he responsible? You know, I feel that those are the type of things that we need to do
Gotcha.
as an industry more, right?
Yeah.
Rather than trying to, I feel like some barbers, they're happy that a barber reaches out to them. I mean, some barbershop owners, they're just so happy to try to fill out their barber chair that they get a little cutthroat, and they won't even dare to call that barbershop owner, the other barbershop owner, to find out what's up with this barber.
Gotcha.
You know, and you know what? The thing is that it's not only good business ethic, professional ethic, it actually helps that barbershop owner that is calling to inquire about that barber, because sometimes that barber could be a problem guy, you know, problematic person.
Right.
He could be trouble, you know. It could be somebody that stole from the last barbershop, you know, from somebody that gets into fights, somebody that has a drug problem. It could be a lot of stuff, you know.
Right.
That if you, as the shop owner, if you just take a little bit of time to look into, like, all right, where this guy came from, you can avoid a lot of problems.
Right.
You know, that for one, and the other one, like I said, with competition and instead of competing in a nice way, in a professional way, when you get cutthroat to where now it's like, okay, try to steal this barber. Oh, how much do you pay over there? What's your booth rent over there? Let me discount it $50. Let me discount it $75. Give you half booth rent. You know, when barbers do that, barbershop owners do that, nobody ends up winning. You know, because they taking a pay cut. You know, they're making the other barbershop take a hit as well.
Right.
But I feel like at the long run, in the end, that shop owner that was cutthroat, they end up hurting themselves more.
Gotcha.
You know, that's my opinion.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you can't buy loyalty.
Right.
You know, you can't really buy loyalty. And the only way that you got that barber was by giving them free rent for 6 months or whatever you did to steal that barber.
Right.
He's not really gonna be loyal to you. He's only there for that money. You know, that's my thought, and that's what I've seen. Actually, I've seen it.
Yeah, and I mean, probably I've seen barbers have a coup in the shop. All the barbers will leave that shop and go somewhere else because of an offer, or one of the barbers going to open up a new shop, and they all leave the shop there. And the thing with that, and that's a part of the ugliness in the business. That's part of the ugliness. You know. One day we're gonna have a panel. We're gonna talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. A little bit what we're talking about right now is definitely part of the ugly.
Oh, definitely.
As barbers, we tend to complain about certain things that's going on in the shops. A lot of shops do have meetings, a weekly meeting or a monthly meeting, and they can talk about stuff to keep from going to that extent what you're talking about, where they'll complain to another owner, then he'll say, well, I tell you what, I do this for you, or I do that for you. And it's bad business when you can't approach the owner and say, listen, this is what I got a problem with, or gripe, or like anything. That's what meetings are for, to have meetings and talk about it.
I agree.
So yeah.
I agree. No, and you know what? I feel like when a barbershop owner is cutthroat, right? And his barbers are seeing this. You know what I mean? So you're being cutthroat. That barbershop owner is being cutthroat to other barbershop owners, right? And let's say he got a couple of barbers doing that, right? The barbers know that barbershop owner is cutthroat, right? He knows, all right, this guy knows that I work across the street. He reached out to me. He offered me this for free. He asked me what my booth rent was. You know what I mean? So in the way, that is what that barbershop owner is teaching those barbers. And that's what I've seen throughout the years.
Right.
That the guy that does that, because he feels like he needs to do that to come up, then he gets that in return. You know what I mean? That he gets just the same thing sooner or later.
Gotcha.
So I feel like it's a lose-lose situation. So for the barbers that are watching this, the barbershop owners that are thinking like, well, so how can I not be cutthroat, right, and still get ahead? How can I not be cutthroat and get some barbers, right? Because we all want to have full shops, right? Obviously. And it's this. You go after the students. You know what I'm saying? Those are the best guys to train. Those are the guys that you want to work with, right? And that will want to work with you.
Right.
Those are the guys that will listen to your rules. Those are the guys that are going to listen to see your vision more. Those are the guys that are hungry too, to learn, to work, to build clientele, So to me, those are the best guys, I mean, obviously, my seasoned barbers, they're great,
Right.
I love getting seasoned barbers. But I feel like it's hard to get a seasoned barber just out the blue.
Yeah.
A barber that's already established, they're going to want to stay where they're at.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The good ones, at least.
Yeah.
Very seldom you get a good seasoned barber that's gonna knock on your barbershop to try to get a job with you.
Right.
It's the only way that it's a good one. I mean, in a good situation would be that the barbershop owner is messing up, is not doing his thing, or they had to close down the barbershop for whatever reason.
Right.
So now that good barber is out looking for a shop. But an established barber, if a barber that has experience, right, comes to a new barbershop looking for a job, I feel like many times is a barber that maybe you may not want in your shop. It's a barber that comes with issues, with problems, and maybe that's why he is what do you call that? Hip hopping barbershop? Hop hopping, what is it?
Share hopping.
Share hopping, yeah. Share hopping or shop hopping. That's the word I was looking for. Shop hopping. Sometimes that's in some Colombian and Spanish. Right. I gotta translate everything before I say it, bro.
Nice.
No, I'm just kidding. I don't. But I still got my accent and stuff. I can't help it.
Yeah.
But yeah. So those guys, those shop hoppers. Sometimes as a shop owner, you end up getting a shop hopper. Those are the worst. Try to stay away from those. I try to stay away from those.
Right.
And once again, if you're a shop owner that wants to do things right, and you take your time to interview this guy to try to find out where he came from, why was he there only for 4 months, why was he at the other shop just for 6 months, and then the one before that for 3 months, then you start seeing a pattern, and that may not be a person that you want at your shop, because it's just gonna waste your time,
Right.
At least, so me at my shop, and I'm sure many other barbershop owners do this, that I don't charge full rent to a barber right when he starts with me. I'll give him a couple of months for him to build his clientele. So when I'm giving somebody a discount, but then this guy is a shop hopper, right? He's gonna just be there for a couple of months, take the discount, and when I start charging him real, regular booth rent, he's gonna be out of it in a second, because he's just a shop hopper, you know. And he's gonna be like, I'm out of here, you know. And you don't want those guys. At least I know I don't. You know, you can't build something a good shop like that, you know.
Right.
And actually that brings me to a point. It's good to build with the right barbers, because sometimes if you don't got the right barbers in there, you cannot really count with those barbers. You know what I mean?
Right.
Sometimes I think as shop owners will make the mistake of keeping a barber just because he's paying booth rent. But if it's not somebody that really wants to be there, that is a good vibe for the shop, that is really trying to work and stuff like that, then you can't really count with that guy. You know, that's somebody that's gonna be out. You don't even know when his last day is gonna be. You know,
Right.
you want to be with guys that are solid, that want to work, whether it's full time or part time. They could be part time, but you know what? When they're there, they're there. You know,
Right.
they're not there to play games. They're not there to distract the barbers. They're not there to cause problems. They're there to make money. That's the type of guys that I like.
Nice. Oh yeah.
Yes, sir. Yeah, man. And like I was thinking the other day, and I'm like, you know what? I want to say this in the podcast.
Okay.
Something I thought about. Right?
All right.
And it's this: you can give somebody a job, right, at the barbershop. You can even give them some rules. You can force them. I mean, I don't know if that's the proper word, but let me just say it, right? You can force them to respect some rules and everything, right? But you can't force them to grind, right?
Okay.
You can't force them to really put in the work to be successful in this business.
Okay.
And that's something that needs to come from the barber. He needs to have that initiative to grind, you know, if he really wants to be successful. Because this is not something that you get rich quick, you know. It's not something this doesn't happen overnight.
So how skilled does a barber have to be in 2022? Does he have to really know how to do everything?
No, you don't. I
agree.
The more what they say, the more things change, the more they stay the same, you know. And I mean, a barber is gonna build his clientele around his skills. So the more skills that he has, the better, right? But you don't need to do everything to be a great barber.
That's true.
I know barber that just with, basic fades, basic ball fades, and knowing how to do some beards, doing how to do beards, and some shear work, some decent shear work. They're good with that, and they stay consistent with that.
Exactly. That's the key word, consistency.
Consistency.
If they're consistent, they can outwork a barber that's probably great at cutting, but he sucks at being there, absent a lot, don't know where he is. Yeah, so.
Exactly.
That's why I asked that question, because I think that a barber that you might think is mediocre, he can definitely outwork the barber that can probably cut you, most people under the table. But if he's not there to get the money, and that guy he's going to get the money.
Oh yeah, definitely. It takes more. It's a lot more than just skills. Yeah. And I hope the barber schools are doing a good job at this, which is, teaching them that it's not just about the skills. It's about knowing how to speak to the clients, being consistent, being there. There's some guys that are great barbers, right? They can do all these designs, all these color enhancements, all this cool stuff that the picture is picture perfect, right? But they don't really take care of their client good. They'll ignore their client because they're on their phone. They're so busy recording for social media, for the outside world, and they forget that the guy in the chair that they're recording and stuff, they're not really interacting with them. I'm not saying that you can't record for social media, but you gotta make sure you don't ignore that client. Gotcha. And that the treatment is there. It's a good experience for the client. That's what's gonna keep them coming back.
Wow. You said a mouthful.
Huh?
You said a mouthful.
Yeah. Well.
And I must admit, from being a barber myself, and I still cut hair, time to time, and some part time. I've been a lot of those barbers. I've been the lazy barber. I said.
Oh, you mean through you've been through phases? You mean
I've been through
times?
Phases. I've been burnt out. I've been the barber that might call out for X amount of reasons, and I do other things, you know, as far as doing, you know, journalism and doing
Right.
films and stuff. But when I'm there, I'm there. Like, I'm gonna rock out from the time I get to the time I walk out.
Nice.
So that's one thing about me. I was one of those barbers that once I start cutting, I don't even talk about
Nice.
what. Let's cut. Let's go. So yeah, I understand it, and I understand it from both sides.
Yeah.
Being a former shop owner and being a barber all these years, I done been that guy.
Different phases, different times.
Different times. I've been
I hear
that guy,
you.
so I know it when I see it. Cause I was that guy, so when I see it, I recognize it, and it makes you chuckle and laugh, cause you be like, I know about that. You know, back in the day when we didn't have cell phones and fancy headphones, we would have a phone on our neck and be talking. Yeah, man, what's happening? Blah blah blah. Yeah. Hold on for a minute. Run to the corner store, play your numbers.
Well, I remember
Go
before
back.
we even had phones. I remember
Yeah,
before we even
exactly.
had cell phones. You know,
I'm
I still
talking
remember
about
those.
the
Oh, you
shop
talking about the
with
shop phone?
cord.
The shop
Yeah,
phone.
you gotta
Oh
pull
yeah,
all
the
way
shop.
out. Yeah, hand me the phone.
The shop
He got
phone.
the
Oh, I
cord,
remember.
and he holding it like this and talking.
Oh yeah, I remember the
So,
shop
I
phones
remember
for
those
sure.
days.
Oh yeah, but and yeah, for real, you know what? I know you said you can identify yourself with certain different type of
Yeah.
barbers at
Yeah.
different times, you
Yeah.
know, phases of your career.
Yep.
But at least I could tell you're a hard worker.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Just by, you know, when I call you late at night, whatever you're working, you know, you're
Yeah.
working on your videos,
Yeah.
on editing and all this, you know.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's very important in barbering, you know, being
Yeah.
a hard worker.
Yeah.
Many people don't like to work hard, and in barbering you have to do that. You know, you have to grind, especially
Right.
on the good days. Think about it, the good days you have to be willing to be there until late at night at the barbershop. Many people are just not willing to do that. They're not willing to put in that work.
Gotcha.
They feel like they have to go home early to their family, which I respect that. But I feel like I believe more in quality of time rather than just time, just to do time, you know.
Gotcha.
You know, and I feel like many people, just from what I've seen, right, that many people, they like to get home early, right, let's say by 6 p.m., but they're not really doing quality time with their family. So you want to get home early, but you're just gonna be in front of the TV
Right.
with the family at best. That's not real quality time, you know.
Gotcha.
I feel like it's better, well, in my opinion, like I said, like in my opinion, it's better to grind out the whole week, and guess what, one day you have the whole day for your family. Take them to a park all day. It doesn't have to be something that you're spending a bunch of money. You can go to the beach,
Yeah.
right, and just have that quality time with your family, you know. So I believe in that, you know. And also, rather than working half-ass, can I say half-ass on the
Yeah. Shit.
okay,
Whatever.
working, instead of working half-ass,
Yeah.
you just grind it out, right, every day, boom 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 boom, and guess what, just take a vacation,
Right.
at least a mini vacation, right,
Right.
rather than taking all these little times, leaving early an hour. I'm sure you've seen those barbers that they have to leave early an hour every single day. Like, why you have to
Yeah.
leave an hour earlier to every day?
Right.
You know, it's like they can't just have something to do every single day.
Right.
It's just that they get tired, you know, and they want to go home, right?
Right.
But they forget that towards the end of the night, that's when usually there's a walk-in coming in.
Yeah.
Right? Usually, more than not, there's somebody trying to walk into the shop before they close, right? Within the last hour.
Okay.
But many barbers, they want to leave early. And I feel that instead of trying to leave early, you get into a habit of staying late, right? Or staying at least until the shop closes. You're
Okay.
going to get a last client every day, right? And you're going to build your clientele quicker. And it's better just to grind and work hard. And like I said, take vacations. Like, I don't even, honestly, nowadays, I don't even like taking days off.
Okay.
I'd rather just take the vacation. Like, I'm working pretty much 7 days a week.
Okay.
Not at the barbershop, I just on my goals on everything that I got going on, right?
Gotcha.
I spend a little bit of time with my family here and there, boom, boom, boom. But I'm pretty much working every day
Okay.
and taking a couple of vacations a year.
Gotcha.
I enjoy my time better like that. I feel like it makes more sense.
Oh yeah. Well, definitely. You know, time management is important, especially I feel because we're always in the shop. We're always in the shop, and especially this barber from in this day and time, we have to do at least 10 to 12 hours.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you know, it is what it is. You know, I'm talking about a full-time barber. He's going to work 10, 12, sometimes 13, 14 hours, 5-6 days a week, easy.
Yeah.
And he might take a day off. Some guys don't. They have clientele just that like that, you know. And then you got the barbers who, you know, doing house calls and stuff like that. So they're constantly on the move, on the grind, and sometimes that's what it takes, you know, to make the ends meet. You know, depending on, you know, the lifestyle that you're trying to live outside of the barbershop.
Oh, yeah.
But you know, I really enjoyed this talk.
Appreciate that, bro.
Because
Likewise. Thank you so much for being.
A lot of the younger guys need to hear. Some of the older guys definitely know what we're talking about. Shop owners, you know, they know, and we know.
Yeah.
But you know, tonight was about celebrating you, your company, and what you have
thank you so
accomplished as a barber.
Thank you.
And as a person, you know what I mean. I believe, you know, as a human being, you're a great human being, as far as a good man, and you take care of your barbers.
I try.
That right there, I never seen that before.
That's what I was looking for. Like that. Like
All
that.
right,
One.
Andres, I think it's our time. And check out my boy Andres. If you're looking for a barber, you come to Tampa.
Sorry.
Check out Fademasters. Fademasters has 7 locations. Instagram, Fademasters Barbershops.
Yes.
At Fademasters Barbershop. You can also find on Facebook at where?
Fademasters Barbershops.
Fademasters
Both of them.
Barbershops. So that's
Plural.
easy to remember. Check them out. Until next time, peace.